This episode feels weird to me. It feels like I'm cheating on a significant other.
Oh my god, you pretty much are.
With three other men.
Three other men.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
So Rosser's on vacation. He said he wanted to be here, but he's on vacation having fun I don't know.
We're all wallowing in self-pity.
He was supposed to be here and pass the torch, but I mean, as many know, he's going off to college next year, and so he'll be on again, like maybe around Christmas and Thanksgiving break, holidays when he comes back. But you know,
I will just adopt the position of Rosser Martinez.
That's why
I assume the position of Michel Watts.
No, you're not adopting
the position of
the token minority. Wait, who is
actually
the
that works because I'm the ginger here.
Wait, who is the token minority in this though? Because you're the ginger and I'm the gay.
No, you're also the mixed race.
That's who as well. I feel like I beat you out.
But you're not.
But like at first glance, no one would be able to tell that. So I mean, I guess Will.
All right. I feel like
at first.
I feel like you're really proving your point. Because,
as the two cis white males here, let me assert the fact.
Actually, wait, but let me just say, like, society is built for me because I am white, straight, and a Christian.
Oh,
okay.
So
Tommy has the biggest leg up here.
That is true.
And you
as well.
So no,
you have red hair, so that's just knocks you right down.
Oh well.
Yeah. You're just.
So
now that we've gotten that uncomfortable subject,
we've now met everyone. Whenever I tell people what the future of the podcast is after Rosser, and I tell them the three of you are going to be filling in, they're like, "It takes 3 people to replace Rosser." No, that's not the idea. We're not replacing him. I enjoyed the 5 episodes that we made together. It was super fun, but it's moving on.
I listened to 5 minutes of each of them.
Yeah,
I listened to none of them.
we have Tommy here for the purpose of some people like monotone funny guy. That's why Tommy's here.
Right.
So if you miss Rosser's monotone funny guyness, we have Tommy.
Okay.
Will is here. Will was on the 40 hours.
Yeah.
I was on the 40 hours. That sounds.
And Mike here because diversity.
Michael's here because he's been asking me to be on an episode, and I'm like, fine, just do all of them from now on. Just do the rest of them with me. God.
Yeah, I'll just do them all.
So everyone introduce yourselves.
Okay.
And then Tommy, take a little longer. So yeah, Tommy, introduce yourself to the people.
Well, seeing as Will is currently. Never mind.
Basically, I am Tommy. I am your average Joe type. But aside from that, I'm also bad at articulating sentences and describing myself. But now that he's back,
hi,
Will, tell the people something they may not know.
About me?
Yeah.
Or no, just state a random fact that people do not know.
The Argentine lake duck has a penis as long as its body.
Nice.
Okay,
well,
Will.
That's Will.
So yeah, I'm Michael. I'm a pretty open book.
Theater kid.
I'm a theater kid. Yeah,
I'm
I guess
a theater kid.
Will's a theater kid.
I'm the only not theater kid here.
I do tech crew.
Yeah, you're a theater kid.
But
if you make a 3.0, you're a scholar. Is it 3.6? If you make a 3.6, you're a scholar thespian.
3.6, which will never happen for Will or me. Yeah, so I dabble in that stuff. I'm pretty,
He's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm okay,
Yeah.
I'm currently playing with
Hi,
with a
Devil.
cat toy, if that gives you any interpretation. But
He
who I
played the
am.
lead last year.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was fun.
Yeah.
I played
And now
the
you've
lead
been,
this year.
Will play the lead. This
Yeah,
year.
but
And,
that was in like the
that was in the fall play.
That was in.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
You
You
didn't
didn't
do
I was
some
in the
of-
spring musical.
He got to sing and dance.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's
And,
let's
cry
straighten
on
things out here.
stage.
You played a bird. I played the god of wine and parties. Let's
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I
That's
was
very
a.
good point.
I stood behind stage with Rosser Martinez, just you know.
Lifting strings.
No, not even that.
Just
Mostly just passing
sitting.
the time and because Tech Crew was so overcrowded.
There's like maybe
preposterous
6 people in Tech Crew who actually
Like-
get to do things during
Right.
the show.
It's
And the
it's
rest
like
kind of-
there's like 4 people who know how to do things,
Mhm.
2 people who do things, and then there's just like 48 miscellaneous members
running
who just
back and
like.
forth.
Have they set a cap on that class now? Because it's
I would hope
it's
they
now a
need
class
to.
that you need to register for before the year even starts.
Huge.
Yeah.
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 I remember like
Let's keep school inside jokes to a minimum because it needs a wider
Hey
audience.
guys,
Right.
guys.
Flarbarb.
Galloway, am I right?
Galloway's the
inside
school we
jokes.
go to.
You know, we
Yeah,
can
like
we can
beep it
talk
out now.
we can talk about Galloway in the sense of one thing I want to talk about this week.
We
is-
could just talk about how it's a corrupt money-making racket.
Sole purpose.
It's a conspiracy.
we have kids here who benefit from the money making part of the school, so let's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love it. It's great.
Yeah.
No, it's actually a
We can
very,
talk- no, 'cause-
very good education,
It's-
very good
yeah.
school,
The thing
very
is-
nice people.
The thing about private schools is private schools like need money, and you don't want to think about it that way, but like they need money. So our school in particular has invented a system called 4D learning, which if that sounds like it means absolutely nothing, you're right. It means absolutely nothing. But it's just like a Silicon Valley buzzword, like Google's innovative and inspiring. You write code for a search engine and read my email. Be quiet, Google.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty much
I love buzzwords
a
though.
joke amongst the teachers and the students
Of
of
not
the
naming
s-
specifics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we had our grade elections, and one student decided to blatantly call out 4D learning and say that it's a joke and no one really likes it. And one of the teachers who was supervising the elections bursted out into laughter
Yeah.
amongst with all the other students in the room. So
It's if you watch Silicon Valley, which you should.
Which I started watching last night.
I need to watch
Season
that. I
one?
hear it's good.
Incredible.
So
It's
you know,
so
so
good.
episode 1 of that episode, you know, there's the Gavin Bilson, the CEO of Hulu, who's basically the Google of that universe.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're one of the most innovative companies in the whole valley, man. It's like there's a running joke in Silicon Valley of buzzwords that mean nothing.
Yeah.
But
Cat for the cat.
the second the second season.
Dare I say it's a cat in a hat.
Cat in the
sorry, we completely
No.
just went away from you.
Yeah, there's
For
a
those of you who do not have
Oh, cat in a basket! Cat in a basket!
my cat.
Oh no!
This is why. See, this is all gonna sound bad. People are gonna hear that. So let's.
by the way, everybody,
so let's,
the cat just died. It fell out of the basket, and
They didn't stick the landing.
Well,
And
we're
by
gonna-
heaven, it went to the other
And we're
one.
currently giving the cat a Viking funeral, as you can see.
dude,
if you
that's
listen,
how I want
if-
my funeral to go. I want to have a Viking funeral.
How is this like archery like team gonna work next year?
oh,
Like
Um,
what is that?
Are you
I
on the
am-
archery team? Does anyone sign up for
we
archery?
should
I did
start.
not
We
sign
should
up
start a
for that.
rafflery team.
Ooh,
Raffle.
Raffery.
Rafflery.
Raffery.
I thought you said
Yeah.
raffling
By the way,
for a
we pretty
second
much
at
all have
first.
ADHD, so
This
we
is gonna be it.
apologize.
I'm the only one.
Samuel's the only one who.
I'm the only one focused right now.
But
So-
on the subject of funerals, I would like to have a rave at my funeral.
That'd be fun.
Just like.
Can we drop your body into the middle of it?
Basically, what it would do is like the priest would do his whole like religion thing,
Nice.
and like.
You know.
And then, like, everyone would be, like, crying. It would be a closed casket. Then, like, suddenly my casket will open. There's just, like, a bright, like, shining light going out of it. And there's, like, there will be dry ice in it. So it's, like, mist is, like, pouring out of it.
Uh,
And then, like, the bass will drop, strobe lights.
yeah.
I as you said, am dropped into the middle of the rave, attached by cables.
Weekend at Bernie's style.
He's having such fun.
Look at him.
The Colbert Report prided itself on finding just the weirdest things it could possibly find to talk about during the segment after the main joke, after the main editorial monologue, and in between the interview.
Yeah.
So one time they said they found there's a casket you can buy with a fancy headstone. So the casket is lined with 6 different speakers and an 18-inch subwoofer.
Nice.
So when you're in the ground, and also you can put your favorite songs on a touchscreen tombstone. So you can go to your tombstone like, I'm going to play Sandstorm for this body.
Nice.
You can't hear it,
Just like open arms.
but in the
like-
casket
but
6
journey.
feet down...
But what if,
Wait, hold on.
like-
All those subwoofers.
what
You
if,
sure
like-
you couldn't like at least feel it?
No, it's
What if
one
as-
sub, but yeah.
What if as revenge for the person who had to pay for it, like despite the man who was buried, he just put the worst possible playlist ever, or he just put one single song, like Danger Zone.
What's new? What's new? Pussycat
What's New
over and over
Pussycat?
and over and over again.
Oh yeah,
And then it's
John
not
Mulaney.
unusual.
Yeah. Like every
it's
single day of the year put on
argued
What's
for-
New Pussycat, except for one day putting on It's Not Unusual, and like that dead body, or like if it was a zombie, would like look forward to the day that It's Not Unusual would come on and
That'd
be
be
like,
the greatest.
oh
like,
god, thank you.
That'd be like the greatest resurrection scene in like a zombie movie. You just like you hear like you got the lightning and the rain coming in the background, and then like
What's
one like
new,
bursts his hands
Pussycat?
out, and then like opens
What's new, Pussycat?
You know what's a fantastic way to torture someone who's dead? Make them watch Lip Sync Battle over and over again.
Oh.
Wrecked! God!
But
Lip
keep
sync-
in mind,
The
like,
existing...
Michael and I were talking about like consciousness and soul.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the dead body doesn't care.
No,
like
honestly.
you're just kind of like
No, that was-
wasting money.
That was just
This
me.
is like the
That was
concept-
me ripping on one of the worst shows I've ever seen. Lip Sync Battle, for those of you who don't know, on the Jimmy Fallon show. Jimmy Fallon has a segment where he'll have like 1 or 2 celebrity guests on, and they'll lip sync to actual songs because NBC has all the money, so they can get the rights to the songs. So someone thought, and it's a terrible segment that I hate watching, but someone like, hey, let's take the worst part of the Jimmy Fallon show and make a whole show about it and get real celebrities who will up the production value. So
I honestly think
Anne
that-
Hathaway did Wrecking Ball, and she was in the Miley Cyrus Wrecking Ball outfit.
I
for
honestly
hers.
think that they're
remember
just drunk on their own power. You know,
Yeah.
they're just like, oh yeah, you know that segment that everyone sort of like
Like,
deals
eh,
with, and
yeah.
if they have TiVo, they skip it. We're gonna make an entire show about that. It's gonna like make a ton of money for us.
Get your TiVo practice
like-
going.
And like, you know what? You're gonna love it. And you're gonna watch it.
You're gonna watch.
I
Because
just
we can do that to
own
you.
I despise
We
I despise
own you.
everything that NBC is and stands for because they're the propaganda.
National
Yeah, Brenda
broadcast.
Wood's pretty good.
No, because
awesome.
NBC is an entity. They're just the propaganda wing of Comcast.
That is.
Because they are owned by Comcast, the worst company ever. And I know I'm going to be
You
using.
don't believe us. After the midday news, just look in the bottom part of the screen after they run
And-
the ending animation.
And also just like
This is
Google this thing called
NBC.
net neutrality. and,
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
Comcast didn't like that. They didn't
No.
like it.
All right, I'm gonna get some lemonade.
I'm gonna get some lemonade too.
Okay,
Ooh,
I'm gonna
it's just-
cut it.
Actually, why don't you give me some lemonade too?
I'm gonna cut it
Why? Because
here.
I'm a freshman. Well, I'm a sophomore now. Bitch.
well, we're seniors.
I'm gonna cut it now, and we're gonna take a quick break and thank a sponsor that we don't have yet. Hello there, Samuel Poulet speaking to you now. Do you have a product, business, or service that you want to advertise on Unwatchable? Then please email me at unwatchableshow@gmail.com. Give me a script, tell me about your product, and we can talk about rates and other things, and you will get your ad read by all of us here on Unwatchable. Thank you. Let's get back to the show. Of this, we're going to do a full hour, but the last half hour is going to be us talking about Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
So if you have not seen Mad Max Fury Road, go see it, and then pause the episode, go see that movie, and then come back, because it's a podcast.
See,
Bring
well,
chicken fries.
seeing as
'cause they're
this-
back.
We
This
need-
this podcast hasn't come into official existence yet,
No.
and I have not seen Mad Max Fury Road, I will be kind of like a liaison between these freaking crazy people who are obsessed with Mad Max Fury Road and every other person who has yet to...
Oh, just wait until we get into it.
Yes.
We need to do something in honor of Rosser. Rosser,
Okay.
if Rosser was here, he wanted to, he would have talked about phobias and things that terrify us.
Yeah.
So we're going to now talk about that in his honor.
Yes.
And Tommy,
May
let's,
he
let's
rest
start.
in...
Tommy,
Where is he?
what's it's his vacation?
May he rest in vacation.
Did you say he rested in New Jersey?
Is that
No
where he
one
is?
should die in New Jersey.
No.
No one should be. No one deserves to be buried in New Jersey. Sorry.
And also,
Sorry, New Jersey.
what's it called? Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach in New Jersey are my two least favorite places in America. Sorry if anyone will ever end up in either of those places, because one of them is full of very, very cruel people. Another one of them is full of equally cruel people, but with pickup trucks.
And spray tans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So, a phobia I share with Rosser is the irrational fear of the deep ocean, or just the ocean in general.
Because he can't see it.
Because, no, it's just everything is so terrifying. Like,
Yeah.
do you guys watch Planet Earth?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love Planet Earth,
they're all on Netflix.
except for the one where they go to the deep sea, and they're like, it's like all black, and they're like, we have found the greatest predator of them all, the vampire squid. And then they like flip on the lights in their submarine, and it's like, oh god! And basically what this thing does, similar to that of Bram Stoker's Dracula, surrounds a whale and sucks all of its blood out. So just, if that statement isn't terrifying enough for you...
Pretty much everything that exists in the deep sea is just...
Well, no, it all evolved just not
Terrifying.
giving a damn. It's like, oh, what's this? Oh, it's a deep sea flower, and it's also a gun with a knife.
In our case,
But I didn't need to look pretty because no one could see me. Good night.
Oh wait, you said wait, hold on. I wasn't paying
Oh,
attention. I was
God.
drinking liquid.
Yep. But
Please don't spray on my microphone.
the deep sea can be a very terrifying place.
Especially anglerfish.
Oh,
yeah.
I had nightmares about that part in
Finding Nemo.
where they're like, oh, look at the light. I was like, no.
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 Go
Like,
away from the light.
Do
Go
you know
far
what?
away
Do you know
from
what
the
the
light.
do you know what the anglerfish mating process is like?
I
it's
saw-
the male,
I saw it,
the male attaches to the female, and it's just like this constant supply of male genetics.
Well, no, it's
Just for months.
so the man is filled with genetic material for breeding, and he
You could
attaches.
just call it what it is.
He attaches to a female.
Fish semen.
He bites it, but then the male dies, and he becomes a part of the female, and then she uses
And that's
his,
all that's left
Just
is his
like a-
testicles.
and she
tumor.
uses the genetic material whenever she needs it.
Just like
That's
marriage, am I
fascinating.
right? Being absorbed by your other. Yeah, just being forever attached to her. Yeah. And when she needs to produce offspring in the harsh climate of the deep sea.
You know, marriage.
Yeah.
It's not legal for me yet.
Dick Cheney. Dick.
I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm sorry.
I feel
that
left out.
I'm sorry that society's wrong.
Whatever. I'm gonna move to a place where it is. It'll be fine.
It's okay. It's okay.
Massachusetts, it's cold.
New York's
Ireland.
pretty fine.
Ireland.
California.
Australia.
California, there's no water, so
Yeah.
It looks
In
like.
California, your in town will actually happen.
I like water a lot more
Dude,
than I
the
like meds.
Do you know who's actually planning to privatize all the water? The Nestle.
Oh,
Really?
No, they're evil monsters.
The CEO came out in a statement and said water is not a human right.
No, he didn't say
What?
this. You know, so the CEO of Nestle, because there's countries where Nestle is just the only way to get clean water.
Right.
So they interviewed the guy who is in charge of Nestle, and no surprise, he's German, so he's terrifying.
course.
He says, there are two beliefs about water. There's one which I believe to be the fairly radical belief of water is something that should be made regularly available so that people can sustain life. Then there's the belief I have, which is that water belongs to those who have the power to seize it and distribute it.
And was he also like?
You know what also-
was he also sitting at the end of a long dark table,
With
like
his pinky
with one
slightly in
pinky?
his mouth.
No,
And he's just
probably.
like, what
Nestle has 20 plus different brands of water.
And they connected to the candy bars?
Yeah, and the
By God!
and
Give that guy-
chocolate milk with the bunny.
Oh,
Give
man.
that guy 2,000 years and life in space, and he's gonna be the same person who's privatizing oxygen.
Yeah, that is so true.
No,
No, oxygen is not a right to people.
Oxygen is not a right.
he'll be Glenn Brooks' character in Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Oxygen, oxygen, oxygen.
You mean Mel Brooks?
Yeah, Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, all this
They get
talk
your
of
facts
water makes me think of the ocean. Because I'm visited by the horrors of the deep sea every 5 minutes. And it's almost as though I drown in that blackness when I descend into dreams. And I'm accompanied by, you guessed it, the vampires.
My greatest fear is much more irrational. It is I'm afraid of walking into a room and there just being a very big shark there. Because there's nothing you can do in that situation. Just, whoop, this is it.
Oh, well, this is over. This is how it
Actually, in that
ends.
situation, I would be pretty fine because I mean, he's not
punch
in.
it in the
He's
nose,
not.
right?
Well, he's also. There's no water.
I mean,
like he'd be
Michael,
sitting there like.
no, but people say like, oh, just punch it in the nose. When your first response when you see a shark, just like, oh, there's a shark there.
Wow.
Perfect, precise punch in
No,
its
it's
nose.
gonna be.
I'm not gonna- I'll just
where's
punch it
the
in one of its
place that I
hundreds
can
of
swim
teeth.
the farthest away.
Yeah.
Also,
Where's the
you're
closest
looking. The shark's got like lightning reflexes. If you're trying to punch it in the nose, it's probably just gonna be like, oh look, there's a hand coming neatly straight for my mouth. Ah.
Well,
and there
also
you go.
there's that statement of like just punch the shark in the nose and it'll leave you alone is pretty like dangerously inaccurate because like from what I've seen from like demonstrations that I found on the internet, and as we know everything on the internet is real, you have to do it like multiple times.
Yeah,
So
you have to
like
repeat-
telling people just punch a shark in the nose,
And often
like,
if a shark gets
they're
harmed,
just gonna-
it'll run away and then come back for another strike.
Yeah. So like just telling people, oh, just punch it in the nose.
Well,
People are gonna be in the ocean with a shark, punch it in the nose. Shark's gonna be like, ow, that hurt. Now give me your hand. Like
No,
it's just
it won't be like, give me your hand. It's, I'm gonna
This is
take
mine
your hand.
This is my hand.
you
You
no
know,
longer
actually,
own it. It's
the
like a
way
German
the
guy.
way you beat a shark is you turn into a dolphin.
Right.
Very easy. You turn into a dolphin because sharks hate dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also dolphins are like friendlier versions of sharks.
You know what
Yeah.
pisses me off about Finding Nemo?
What?
It's one of those movies that claims to be super scientific, but like Bruce is standing still. They can't stop moving sharks,
Yeah.
otherwise they drown.
That is true.
If Bruce was circling them, it'd be accurate.
Wait,
They had like, they just had
does it
to like
say that
put
it was
something.
scientific?
No, the whole
that, that was like one of their big
when they were
marketing
promoting, they're
points is
like-
that it was like it's very scientifically accurate.
It has talking fish in it.
Well, besides that, it's okay.
and terrifying Australians. There's no such thing as a scary Australian. They're all beautiful, kind people.
There's only terrifying Australian animals.
Yes.
Speaking of which, my biggest fear are Australian animals because it seems that more like 1/4 of the animals are cute and cuddly, and you know, like kangaroos and wallabies.
Are you kidding
and
me?
koalas and
But
stuff.
all three of well, actually, no.
Koalas
Yeah,
are
no.
vicious.
Kangaroos and
Koalas are
wallabies
pretty
are
vicious.
fucking scary.
Yeah, well, but those see, I'm getting to the point. Is that like 1/3 of the animals are cute and cuddly on the outside, but once you try to fuck with them in their natural habitat, pardon my
Well,
language,
I'm pretty sure.
they're gonna get all.
I'm pretty
angry
sure you
at
can take that and
and
apply
be
it to
pretty
literally.
terrifying.
You can apply that to literally any animal.
That
like,
is true.
Even humans, like, oh yeah, they're like friendly and intelligent creatures, but if you like break into their house and try and steal their TV,
Right.
then like, things might go wrong for you.
Yeah.
Someone stole our TV way back, but it was
I
probably
think I remember
it was the
this
best
story.
stealing of my TV ever.
Did you get a new? Oh, that one.
No. In my dad's bedroom, there was this. My dad bought plasma TVs when they were the thing. So like, it was, to say the least, it cost more money than it should have. So he bought this really expensive plasma, and my mother was mad at him for getting the plasma.
Nice and frustrating.
So my mother just got mad at the plasma, and she had the plasma, and it wasn't like plasmas are great now. Back then, it was just a crappy TV. So we were on vacation. Someone broke into the house, and they unhinged the plasma screen and they took it away, and we were scared and all that. But then we looked at it, they took the cords out perfectly. It was just ready for a new TV to be there.
How convenient.
So then we went and we got a new HD LED whatever. And my dad, he was the most mad at that TV because it cost like a fraction of what he paid for the plasma, but it was just as good.
Person who stole Samuel's TV back in what was it, like
2010 maybe.
Something like that. If you're listening,
Thank
thank you for being neat with your work. I greatly appreciate it.
That's if you want to be a thief, take it out nicely and they won't press charges.
Yeah,
And
use
also-
this man as an example.
And also, like, make it so that they get a nice bargain on their next TV.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Just like, wait for the...
Pass it down the whatchamacallit.
You got a word there, or are you just gonna...
No, I'm just leave it there. I don't remember saying it's something to do with like niceness. Yeah.
What are you afraid of, Will?
What's your fear,
What am
Will?
I'm fucking scared of.
Oh.
I'm scared of geese. I hate geese. Geese. I was trauma. Okay, so let me take you back into the past of my life. My dad's mom, and her family. Yeah. My dad's mom and her family all live up in Nova Scotia, Canada.
What?
And
I can hear Will.
I got attacked
You attacked.
by a Canadian goose
Oof.
when I was like 10, and it traumatized the shit out of me.
Why
That
didn't you
thing
try
was-
shaking its hand? It was Canadian.
Canadian.
Canadian geese, surprisingly, Canadian geese are even more fucking violent than normal geese.
Yes.
Like, Canadian geese are like the
Is that-
antithesis of this whole Canadian stereotype. It's like, ugh.
I have known some Canadian humans, and they are the meanest
Yeah,
people I've
exactly.
ever known.
It's just like,
The only like redeeming quality was they said, "Who's like funny?" Like I was talking with one, and he was like, "Oh, I was at the Who's party. I just picked up my bag," and I was like, "What do you mean by that?" But then he continued to just like do something atrocious and terrible. So like that debunks the theory of Canadians being nice. If you're listening, you know who you are.
Playing off of Will's fear of geese and back into my fear of Australian animals, the Australians have a goose that it's like the black goose or something.
Was it poisonous?
No, well, it's pretty much it's a goose, but it's black. Its beak is red, like blood red. It has razor sharp teeth
Does
and a
it-
wingspan of about like 10 feet.
Does it also like fly like a
If-
pirate flag above it? And, like it's like argh.
Well, and it's dangerous because they're very easily irritated, and also if they happen to like spread their wings to take off while you're standing next to them, their wing muscles are so strong when they extend them to fly, it will shatter someone's like tibia. It's that bad. It's like so. There's
Like you
this
just
place,
come home from your vacation in Australia, just
Yeah.
like in a full leg cast, like
What
you
happened?
know, man,
Fucking
geese,
black
am I
geese.
right?
what happened? A geese
I had
tried to fly.
I had
Don't
a
you mean a
run in.
goose?
That's why New Zealand is better than Australia, because
That's
no
true.
New Zealand animals can kill you. That's not even.
Also,
But
they-
keep
they
in
do
mind,
pretty
New
cool
Zealand
tattoos.
has kiwi fruit.
Yeah.
So
Hold on.
like,
and kiwi animals.
Prehistorically,
Kiwi
New
birds.
Zealand had this fucking thing called the harpy eagle or some
Uh-huh.
shit. That fucking had talons the size of a tiger.
Oh lord.
Yeah,
Bum, bum,
it
bum.
would hunt humans.
Oh my god.
That
It's
thing was
killing for
the thing had a
sport.
wingspan that was probably larger than the size of this table. It was huge.
It's like a pool-sized
Now,
table.
now, New Zealand doesn't have that anymore.
No.
But fucking in prehistoric times, Australia and New Zealand were like even worse.
In prehistoric times, people were covered in hair. Like we were.
Well, you say like that's as big as this table, but there are some like birds that went extinct in the '60s in Bermuda that had like
Dodos.
no.
I don't know.
In
Donuts
Bermuda?
were like the size of this.
I don't know when dodos went extinct.
Yeah,
All I know
but,
is they're fat
but
birds.
No,
I
but not
think,
in
I
Bermuda.
think what you're trying to say was it was a giant monster capable of like, eating a human, and it's
Yeah.
a bird.
Yeah.
You know,
Alright,
no, just like New Zealand animals now is like a spider in Australia creates spider rain, and a spider in New Zealand just hi, I'm the spider of New Zealand.
Yeah.
Goodbye. No, they're like you can camp out. If you camp out in the wilderness in Australia,
You're gonna get rained on by spiders.
if you camp out in the wilderness in New
Literally
Zealand,
happened. It rained spiders in Australia like last week.
the
It was
spider.
terrifying.
What happens is like if there's the right wind pattern. I'm probably wrong, but I read something like if there's the right wind pattern. And enough spiders all made at the same time. So like we all know spiders have tons of babies,
Yeah,
which is a good thing.
it's terrifying.
So if there's the right wind patterns and they all have their babies around the same time, the baby spiders will rain down from the sky.
Oh god.
You can look this
Like
up.
a plague.
It is so fucking.
Yeah, like-
I am terrified.
Like
I found
Moses could have like said that to the Pharaoh and like it would just happen.
Yeah.
I rarely.
Could have said it to the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh would have been like, "I'll fucking take your Jews." I don't
Dude,
even
man,
like-
I
I don't
don't
wanna
see
do it.
That's fucking raining spiders.
Like,
Good
sure,
Lord.
frogs.
Turn my river into blood. Sure.
Sure.
But if a single spider touches me,
No, I rarely cry, but I cried yesterday because I walked into the living room and I picked up one of my cat's toys and I was gonna throw it and there was a spider under the toy
Oh,
and
man.
it was just there on the ground like ah.
Yeah, I'm a spider.
And then so I got my cup and I was gonna just trap it and just let the cup sit there till the spider died. And I was gonna let it be there for years. I was prepared, but then I squashed it. The spider ran, but the cup split the spider in half. And realizing I'd killed the spider and had not died, I just collapsed on the floor. Just
No.
Wait! You killed the spider and it not died? What?
No,
You
it
split
did die.
Oh,
I split the spider in half, and I realized I did it, and just all the fear left me, and it was replaced with just sadness and shock. It was there for an hour.
alright, so building off of Michael's fear of sharks in impractical areas.
No, that was Sam's.
That was
fear.
Oh,
It's
Sam.
mine. I'm afraid of sharks in rooms.
And then Will's fact that he was traumatized as a child.
Traumatized.
Do you guys remember like those TVs you could buy and you could like mount them in your car, like
Yeah.
before there were cars in TVs?
Like the little wrap around the headrest.
It was an aftermarket. Oh, before
Yeah.
they like put it in the minivan.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and so my family and I, we were going on a really long road trip to Martha's Vineyard, favorite place in the world, and they were like, "All right, let's decide what movies to watch." And we were going on a beach vacation, and they were like, "Oh, Jaws was filmed in Martha's Vineyard.
Oh,
Let's let the kids see Jaws."
No!
and like. I was just like, okay, it's a movie. What? Oh, wow, that woman's like swimming away. Oh, this is a romantic movie.
Dun,
A
dun,
4-year-old
dun,
shouldn't
dun,
watch.
dun, dun,
And
dun,
I was
dun.
like, no.
Oh god.
It was just, and like, we were at the beach and we're like, yay, come on, Tommy, get into the water. And I was just like, nope,
Nope.
Nope.
No.
not gonna mess around with that. And then I proceeded to watch every other Jaws movie, with there being 8 of them.
Well, no,
You
the-
mean like even the one where it was like a telepathic connection with the shark or something?
No,
Yeah,
the thing
where
with the
it's
Jaws,
like
the Jaws sequels is they're the perfect cure to the fear inspired by the first Jaws.
Yeah,
Because none
it's
of the
just
other
so-
Jaws movies are good.
Yeah, they just get so preposterous, like, oh yeah, a shark will like seek out revenge on me, even though
You killed my father. There's an Indigo Montoya shark in one of the movies.
Yeah. Playing off of the movies though, a movie that I saw that traumatized me forever. I mean, I think everyone as a child has at one point where they're afraid of the dark. I mean, I believe we can
I'm
all-
still afraid of the dark.
The dark
Yeah,
can be
me
a
too.
very scary place.
The dark
Yeah.
is wonderful. It's where I do my daydreaming.
Oh,
I need I'm trying to get my dad to give me blackout curtains.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I
You
haven't
obviously
yet to
have
certain.
like issues.
No, it's not issues. It's not issues. I like sleeping.
Oh, yeah,
no.
yeah,
The
gotcha.
less light, the better sleep you get. That's something I learned. But
the room needs
the-
to be slightly cool and less light. That's
the
how you make
movie
it
that helped inspire the fear in my heart as a child of the dark was Signs by M. Night Shyamalan.
You
Yeah.
fucking watched it as a child?
I know. Now my grandfather used to love to take me on trips and stuff, and this was when I was around 8 years old and everything, and so he decided, let's go on a trip with my grandson, my best friend and his grandsons, and it'll be a fun little thing. And so we went to like this. I think it was like the college they went to or something, like, and so like we like spent the night there and like went and did cool stuff, like we went and shot rifles and went like kayaking and some stuff like that. And so on the way there though, it was one of those cars that had the the strap-on DVD thing, and my friend, who was the grandson of my grandfather's friend, who was older than me at the time, decided, let's watch Signs. So we watched Signs, and I was like trying to remain like my coolness, the entire time. Like, I'm with a friend who's older than me, I gotta seem more mature than I actually am. And we got to the part with like the freaking like where like you actually see the aliens as they like infiltrate the house, like when the hand comes under the door and they like chop out the god, it like, and that like literally scarred me for life. And the scene where they're in the basement, and the alien is like infiltrated the basement is like that is like what inspired the fear of the dark in me as a child and currently.
I remember him being good.
Yeah.
I watched a...
What do you mean? There was one movie he did was good, and then it just went down.
Signs was one of them.
Signs. Last Airbender.
Are you kidding me?
He did.
No, it was Signs.
He has 3 good
I
movies.
See Dead People.
Yep.
And
what was the third one?
Signs. I disagree. I don't think Signs was a good one.
I've never seen it, so do not tell me the plot twist.
Signs is touching.
The plot twist is the most fucking stupid plot twist.
It's a dumb plot.
Was there
a
plot twist in
aliens?
Signs?
Are they on another planet?
Well,
Is it not?
I mean, they're alien. There are aliens in the movie. Like that's the
That's
main
very
thing is that there's like.
I don't
aliens
think there was a plot twist in Signs. I think it's like
It was that Tommy, close your ears. It was that they weren't there to like destroy. They were actually like there to help.
No, that was
What?
the plot twist.
Because like he
the
saved
plot
the
twist.
kid. Remember?
No, the plot twist was the weakness.
What was the weak? Oh, water.
Yeah.
that wasn't the plot. That was a discovery.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, you're good. You're good. It was one of those two.
They weren't. No, they weren't. They weren't. He straight up.
But it was to like help the kid.
No,
it
no, that was killing him. Okay, you're good.
Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Another movie that I shouldn't have watched when I was younger, Scarface. It contributed to my irrational fear of the city of Miami.
I've been. Hold on.
You know what contributed to my fear of the city of Miami? The birdcage.
Oh my! That's not even. Well, yeah, I guess.
I had a
Wait,
fear. I had a fear.
It's not scary.
That's actually a beautiful
It's a great movie.
I had
I
an
don't know.
irrational fear of transvestites as a child.
Oh God!
And I saw
Wow.
No,
It's all coming out now.
Transphobic. Never mind.
As a kid, I didn't register or whatever. But I saw that bird cage and I was like, oh no.
I had an interesting. I have a different fear inspired by movies. Fast and Furious 3. That made me afraid that if I go to Japan, everyone's just gonna be drag racing around me. Taxi. Get in the car. Why are you white? Did anyone else see Furious 7?
No. I like the song from it.
So
by
when they
Wiz
did
Khalifa and that kid from YouTube.
When they did Fast and Furious 3, this is an old movie, so Han dies in Fast and Furious 3.
Right.
And then Han shows up in either Fast 4 or 5, so it just threw the whole timeline off. So Fast and Furious 4 to 7 has just been tying up the entire timeline. Yeah. So Tokyo Drift takes place between 6 and part of 7. And that's where Tokyo Drift takes place in the timeline. So they showed Han dying, but they also showed the star from Fast and Furious 3, because it was a completely different cast. They showed the star and Bow Wow, and then they met Vin Diesel's character, and the news like, I didn't know what happened to Han. Yeah. And then the dude from Fast and Furious 3, his age 10 years, and you see it so much. He has like a liver spot in his head. He's like, I took over Han's place, and then Bow Wow's just there. It's like, hey, what's up, Bow Wow? Remember me?
Bow Wow. God.
Yeah,
that was on like 106 in Park.
That was the worst part of Furious 7, because they tried to make it look like the guy from Fast and Furious 3 was not 40 years old.
Right.
No one watches like Fast and Furious for like
plot complexity
No.
or
It
like
was a
how it ties in with the whole grand scale
Right.
of Fast and Furious.
It's like the same reason why people buy Call of Duty games year after year.
Yeah.
It's not because we want
like,
to see
I
the
don't-
story continue.
It's
It's
like,
been a-
I don't care about Makarov, and actually I care about Captain Price.
Captain
Price
Captain
is my
Price
bro.
has a very special place in my heart.
I thought the first Black Ops was
So
awesome.
The
first Black Ops was
Great
the first Black Ops had fucking whatchamacallit, Gary Oldman playing Reznov.
Yeah, that was good.
I liked Fast and Furious. It's a fun movie just to watch and look at. But
What? Oh, Gary Oldman played.
Gary Oldman played Reznov, and Sam Worthington, the guy from Avatar that played the main guy in Avatar, he played Alex Mason.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
The cast list for Black Ops was fucking awesome.
Oh wow.
Well, they didn't
that's
do any.
incredible.
They didn't do mocap yet. Kevin Spacey in the.
But they still did
in-
voices, which was awesome.
Kevin Spacey in Advanced Warfare. That was the first time that they did mocap for the actor. But
Yeah.
previously they'd had many. There have been 2 Hollywood actors who've done the full-on mocap for their movies, and it was Ellen Page and Kevin Spacey was the second one. They're trying to get more actors to do it so that they can increase the cinema aspect of movies.
Speaking of mocap, we recently saw Andy Serkis's character.
Well, we didn't see his character.
Oh, we saw him in a mocap suit. We heard his voice.
Oh yeah.
Which he's the guy.
For what?
I think
He's in
in
Star Wars.
Force Awakens.
Oh!
Andy Serkis had a character, and we didn't know who he was until recent, where they.
He's
where
Supreme
Star
Leader
Wars-
Snoker. Yeah.
Yeah, something
Dude,
like
I'm
that.
so excited
And
for it.
he
People have been
basically-
down about the name, but like it's a
Yeah.
Star Wars name. Like Han Solo's a stupid name.
Did you
When
know
you
that-
when you
The name of what?
hearing his voice and they
Star
announced it
Wars,
and
like the
everything,
person.
his voice, if you're familiar with the trailer for the original trailer for Force Awakens, he's the guy who says like all the
There's been an
ominous
awakening?
stuff at the beginning.
Wait,
yeah.
he's the guy who says there's been an awakening?
Yeah, that's Andy Serkis, in his character. But yeah, I'm excited for Star Wars.
The
Personally.
dark side.
I'm afraid to get too hyped for it though.
Yeah.
I've
But you can't go in with low expectations.
That's true.
I've been burnt enough now by movies, and I wrote a post about this on our blog. Oh, I need to talk about the blog now.
Oh yeah, social.
So if you're listening to this, you're probably listening through iTunes. There's now many other ways you can get Unwatchable. We have a Tumblr now. It's unwatchableshow.tumblr.com.
It's got a nice little picture of Tommy if you're interested.
Tommy's the top post on there. I'm going to be posting to it, like making blog editorial posts to it regularly, so you can follow that if you want. And then it also has links to each of the episodes. And we're also on SoundCloud. You just search Unwatchable on SoundCloud and you can find us. So it's just ways to find us and look at us.
Should make a Twitter.
Look at us.
We have a Twitter. I just don't use it because there's no point.
Pass it on to me. I'll take over. I like Joey Twitter.
I'll give you the Twitter.
Yay.
I'll give you the Twitter.
Twitter's just like.
I like to twit.
There's a bunch of ways.
Twitter's just like.
If you want these fine gentlemen to stay here, you should go onto iTunes and give us a nice 5-star review.
Yeah.
If you give us a 5-star review, the iTunes robots can find us, and then they promote our podcast, and people will listen to our podcast, and then we can make money so that we have motivation to do this.
So
I
if
don't-
you're like giving us
Who else would just wanna talk to these losers
For free.
on their free time, like
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
to fill a void of loneliness?
Yeah.
That's not.
Not this guy.
Okay, so
Or Michael.
I'm gonna shut up. Let's not get into that. I don't think we're ready to prepare for this to talk. I don't think we're mature enough to talk about this. We're 4 white people about to get into things we don't want to talk
3
about.
white people.
Shut up.
Oh,
I'm
Okay,
white,
so
I just
I'm gonna
don't have it in my blood.
I'm gonna stop now. From this point onward, we're gonna be talking about Mad Max Fury Road.
Yes.
So if you have not seen
Start
Mad
your
Max,
engines.
pause the podcast like now.
Go to your nearest AMC with their comfy.
Oh,
leather
wait.
couches.
Before we go and start talking about Mad Max, I'm gonna say, this is the last episode for the summer because I'm gonna be gone all summer.
Yay.
I'm gonna be gone for 2 months. We will be back, all 3 of these people, all 4 of us, in August. So that's then the
We
next.
changed men.
Yeah. We'll be back in August. So this is the last episode before August. Now you can stop the podcast, We're going to talk about Mad Max. Spoilers for Mad Max in 3, 2, 1.
Everyone dies.
What?
Just kidding.
Yeah, just 2 people. Well, actually, a lot of people.
Oh, I mean, a lot of people die, but like, I don't know.
A lot of red
everyone.
shirts die.
So let's first
Well,
explain.
they probably.
Let me
basically go through
first
the
explain to
plot
Tommy
first.
like what Mad Max is.
Yeah.
So George Miller is an Australian man who worked in the Australian ER. That's all it is.
Here, I'll type it down.
George Miller was an Australian man who worked in the ER, and he saw a bunch of car crash victims, and he was inspired by these car crashes to make a movie about it. So on a shoestring budget, he hired some guy named Mel Gibson and made the first Mad Max movie. Mel Gibson wasn't famous. It was a huge hit in Australia, did okay
It was also
overseas.
before he was like a Nazi scary guy.
Yeah, it was cool Mel Gibson.
Member
So,
of like
The
Opus
first
Dei.
Mad Max, they hired
What
biker.
was-
They
what
hired a
was
real
that?
biker. What?
Your hand gesture.
The first Mad Max, they hired a real biker gang just because they brought their vehicles, and a lot of the car crashes were filmed in one take because they just didn't have enough money to have multiple car crashes, and so that it's one of the best performing indie films ever. So the second Mad Max, bigger budget. In the America, it's called Mad Max: The Road Warrior,
Yeah.
and to us, it's to most people considered the best Mad Max movie. And then there was a third Mad Max movie.
Which we don't like to talk about because it fucking sucks.
The only one my mom remembers because she remembers
Thunderdome.
Whitney Houston. Who was it that was in it? It was
I
like,
don't know.
Yeah,
it was
Whitney
either like
Houston. I think it was
yeah,
Whitney.
Whitney Houston was in it or
Yeah.
something.
Wait,
like-
Whitney Houston was in Mad
She was in the third one. She played like a pretty significant role.
the lady who's saying the whole like. And
Yeah.
I-
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure it's Home.
Wow, she.
It was
fell
either like
far.
Whitney Houston or like Diana Ross or something like that. I think.
Yeah,
I
the
think we
third
should
movie
Google
was
it
just
because those are-
so sad.
Yeah.
It was just like you don't even want to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the first two they basically the Mad Max movies
It came out-
defined what the post-apocalyptic.
Tina Turner. It was
Tina Turner.
It was Tina Turner.
Wow.
Okay, so
Okay,
the
I was
last
wrong.
the
That's
last
what
Mad
my
Max
mom
movie came out
remembers.
30 years ago. Then George Miller this year dropped Mad Max Fury Road on us, and it was the best movie I've ever seen.
It was
really
the best
good.
movie I'd ever.
It was really good. No, there's been 3 like really good movies this year. Kingsman: The Secret Service, Avengers: Age of Ultron, which is like good, but then Mad Max Fury Road, which knocked Age of Ultron out of the park for me.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like-
So the universe of Mad Max. As you've kind
The
of
way
already-
they explain like all the inconsistencies is Miller says there is a apocalyptic wasteland, but all the Mad Max movies they're like legends of people. They're legends about Max.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's cool.
They're all
so
le-
it's like
yeah.
futuristic Hercules.
Yeah. pretty
Yeah.
much.
yeah, so they're all like legends about Max. So the Road Warrior stuff and the Thunderdome stuff, it may have all happened, but it could just be
No one
stories
really knows.
that people in this
Like
apocalypse.
oral history.
Yeah,
But
he says
basically,
he's-
so basically, like the
it's-
layout, and,
yeah.
like the setting, it takes place in like this post-apocalyptic, I guess.
They say it's Australia.
wasteland or whatever, and it's in Australia. So you've got deserts and like plateaus and everything everywhere, and basically the world has basically like killed itself, and that's like a theme throughout the thing is like killed we killed the world, and basically so there's radiation poisoning all over the place and
a bunch of weird people.
Yeah, and so basically people basically how the world got that way is there was a fight over gas.
Well, there was two. There was the water wars, and then there was the oil wars.
Yeah, water and gas are like the two big like things.
The history is kept
Oh,
very
now let's-
ambiguous
now
on
let's-
purpose.
Now
Yeah.
let's bring it over to a environmental discussion.
There's not really much environmental stuff. It's just the
There's-
world's ended. Here's what's going on.
Well, it
Yeah.
actually it like each of the movies like does actually do a good job of like having sort of moral stories. Like this one was very like it had a sort of very feminist message to
Yeah.
it. It was sort of about how like
Great
the
lots of
masculine
things in it.
sort of
Yeah.
macho mental standpoint was kind of what killed the world.
Because Max and Nicholas Holt's character, Nicholas Holt, he played Beast in the new X-Men
Jennifer
movies.
Lawrence's ex-boyfriend.
Aw.
Girlfriend.
Yeah.
He said girl.
No, Nicholas Holt's in it, but the majority of this cast, it's Charlize Theron. She's pretty much the star of it. Tom
Yeah.
Hardy plays Mad Max. He's great as it.
He only
Tina
has like
loves-
12
but it
lines,
fo-
though.
I
It
love
focuses
some
100 lines actually.
100.
He's
Wow.
about 100 lines in this movie. So Charlize Theron,
still
and there's
not a
these
lot.
5 other women, and that's pretty. And then there's a bunch of men chasing after them. It's a very strong feminist movie. Like if I had daughters, this is a movie I would want them to see.
Yes.
It's a good, strong message. Like when your sister's old
Which is
enough.
funny
Yeah,
because like
no,
it's funny because like the when you see the trailers, you automatically assume this is not something you would want like anyone you know to like know that you watched it, but like it's very, yeah.
Like most movies have the kick-ass girl, like the Avengers has Black Widow, Harry Potter has Hermione,
Kick-Ass has what's it called?
Hit Girl. This movie has Charlize Theron, who's a kick-ass girl. There's these 5 women. They're sort of kick-ass girls, and
They
then
each have their own little
later in the
things,
movie they meet a bunch of other kick-ass girls.
Yeah, it's
so
awesome.
so there's this one
Featuring Nicholas Hoult and Tom Hardy.
Yes.
Well, actually, Tom Hardy I think plays a little bit more of a significant role, but I'm
He kind of
I'm glad-
introduces the story. I think he's like the vehicle that is used. No pun intended.
That's how,
to-
that's the legends of it. People sitting around a campfire, like the first Mad Max, like before the apocalypse release started taking place.
Yeah.
I don't know why this person's
That was-
Irish.
yeah.
There was a cop named
Again,
Mad
Australian.
Max.
If he's from Belfast, you just have to hit everything a lot harder.
But I liked what they did with Charlize Theron and Mad Max, because everyone assumed that they were going to do something romantic with the characters,
And
but
they
it
didn't.
Nope.
Yeah, no. Instead, and actually, in the words of Charlize Theron in an interview that they did with her, it was never about romance to them.
Yeah.
There was never supposed to be like the actors or the writers or the director never even discussed it. It was just a story about 2 extremely badass warriors who start out with no respect for each other, and then at the very end have massive respect for each other.
Yeah.
Like, mad respect.
Mad respect.
Mad.
I listened to another podcast called The Weekly Planet, and they always he never gets hold on.
So,
Australia. They never really gets mad in these movies. He just kind of sits there, kind of being calm. Like even when Goose dies in the first one, he doesn't really get that angry. He just gets mildly irritated.
Yeah. Although, but they do a lot with like his madness and like his insanity in the movie, which is good. And it actually,
Mad Max is mad.
yeah, you know,
He's like
thus the name.
well, the reason he gets the
I was talking about this with my oldest brother pretty recently. Like, you look at like heroes like Commander Shepard or like Master Chief.
Commander Shepard's a fucking bomb.
But like they see so much combat that like they have to be like sort of broken people after a while.
I mean that's
like
that's PTSD in a nutshell.
And also like you look at like Beowulf and Hercules, like they couldn't have been like 100% sane and like killing as many people.
Have
as
you read the legend of what happens to Hercules eventually?
Yeah.
Hercules
Yeah.
doesn't die that way.
Alright, well maybe that wasn't the best.
Hercules
example.
gets poisoned brutally, but he's so strong that he cannot die. So he lives in pain. He says, "Burn me alive. It's the only way I can."
Well, no, you know what happened is she gives him a sweater that is so fucking itchy.
It was
and
a
that,
shroud.
And that it's so a shroud that is so itchy he can't take it off. So eventually, what he does is he kills his family himself, and then they tell him to burn him alive.
No, that was decades before.
No,
that
his
happened
first
before.
the reason he
like-
had the 12 trials is because he killed his family in a rage.
But that was solely because
Yeah.
Zeus's wife was jealous that like Zeus went off and had a bastard, so he's like, I'm gonna punish him.
Which at this point she's
She
gonna
didn't
be like
foresee
fucking.
the future of all the bastard children that Zeus has
Cheat
had.
on me once,
Well,
shame
also
on
the
you.
past. She had so much. In the past, like
Pretty much
like,
every
90%
Greek
of the
myth
gods
starts with Zeus turned into some strange like creature or human and raped someone. And
90%.
All of Greek mythology is Zeus couldn't keep it in his pants.
Yeah.
90% of the Greek gods are in fact like bastard children of Zeus and someone else.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah.
Wait, which one?
The only ones that aren't are Ares and fucking Hephaestus.
Oh, and then his brothers.
We're veering off
Wait,
too much.
we're
We're going
veering
to talk
off
about the
topic.
movie.
Veering off topic. Mad
Aphrodite.
Max.
Wait, I like the story about like there's some island near Greece and like they say like it was formed there because like Hephaestus was born and like Zeus thought he was ugly, so he threw him out of heaven.
No, Hera threw him out of
Hera
heaven.
threw him out of heaven.
What a mean person! Like, what if you were just like, "Oh, I hate this baby," right after birthing the child?
Oh,
Just
God.
like,
No, Zeus has 2 kids who are of him and Juno. It's Ares and then Hephaestus.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Back to
All
Mad
right,
Max.
the really scary, angry one, and then the really ugly one.
It was like cool. Yeah. So Mad Max.
Speaking of sons,
Sons.
the
Morton Joe.
Morton Joe,
Who is like Khan levels of villainy.
yeah,
Like he's up there with Khan.
he's pretty bad. So basically, Morton Joe is this is this character who
He has a monopoly
was
on
it
water.
confirmed that he was what's his name from
Like
he was
the
movie?
CEO of Nestle.
Okay, so
The actor
Immortan Joe is the same actor who plays Immortan Joe in the
No, he's a
Fury
toe
Road.
cutter Joe, and he plays Toe Cutter Joe in the first Mad Max.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And
So
it
so
is-
I
it is-
can speak to this. The other guys, the Bullet Farmer and the People Eater, they were also both part of the gang.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's brothers, aren't they?
No.
They recast a bunch of people.
The Bullet. No. They were both also from the last movie. The Bullet Farmer was whatchamacallit, part of the biker gang that Toe Cutter Joe was from, and whatchamacallit, and the People Eater was originally at the Citadel, who told Toe Cutter Joe about all the water that was at the Citadel.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
Immortan Joe's
he has
main antagonist of the movie.
He has a monopoly on water.
Huge monopoly of water. Calls it Aqua Cola.
Yeah.
And basically keeps the people who live. In
He
the
keeps them at
Citadel.
bay. He lets a
By-
couple hundred gallons out, and this whole society they fight each other for water because apocalypse.
Yeah.
So and he has a bunch of kids, and all his kids, he has one kid who has a respiratory issue and is also
Yeah.
kind of slow.
Well, and
his
so-
other kid who's he's a little person, but he also has a big
He
wart.
looks
in his
like
neck.
a
Well,
baby with
the
a
whole thing
fucking
about
beard.
Immortan Joe in comparison to Toe Cutter Joe, which they're the same character, but
No, they're different people.
are they different people?
They're different. It's same actor recast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so Immortan Joe is he's basically dying from radiation poisoning, and he's also built up a following of other people who have radiation poisoning called Half-Lives, which he also calls War Boys, and they basically do all of his physical dirty work or whatever. And so
Immortan Joe, he's sifted all the people below in his society are sick, but he's somehow found a handful of genetically not messed up women, and they're the breeders.
Yeah.
So the whole premise of the movie is Charlize Theron's character, who used to work for Immortan Joe, sneaks Immortan Joe's wives out, and then she drives them away so that they can reach this supposed promised land. So that
she's from.
That she was there originally as a
was
girl.
born from there.
Which he was taken from.
Yeah, and that's the thing about these women. They were sexually violated by Immortan Joe, yet they're very strong, and they're all strong characters in the movie. There's one who's not so much, but the majority of them are like Lenny Kravitz's daughter is.
She's a good one.
Yeah,
she basically finds an attachment to firearms during the movie, and ends up being sort of like that. And she ends up
When you say firearms, do you mean
Guns.
guns, or
Guns.
do you mean there's a person in the movie called
very reasonable question because
There could be-
that could have happened in the movie.
I mean, yeah.
Was anyone else what was up with the
The guitar guy?
No, the chick with the white hair.
She was just weird.
Yeah, she was
just
weird.
strange.
She was like, "Say,
Yeah.
is there something vexing coming over your shoulder?"
Yeah.
I was like, "What?"
Does anyone else notice that brigade of people coming?
She also knows that Max has a messed up history,
Yeah.
and that's the other part of the thing of everything in the Mad Max movie is just
I thought he
it's just a
wasn't crazy
legend.
anymore.
What?
I thought you weren't crazy.
No, because
So
you
good.
see this girl, we presume it's his daughter throughout the movie, and she appears as a phantom.
He never had a daughter. He had a son.
No, in the first, we presume this girl is his daughter. They're all legends, you don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
But the supporting of the legend is, Max was haunted by memories of his child. It's Max has
haunted
failed
by
someone in a previous film.
The faces of the
You don't really know, and you don't need to have seen the first two movies in order to be caught up with this one. It's
because they're all legends.
Yeah, and that's why the legend theory gives Miller a lot of room. He doesn't have to do fan service for previous films.
The next film, though, I believe, is going to be a prequel to Fury Road, though.
No, so the next film is going to be called The Wasteland. And Miller has said he wants to do a Furiosa spin-off film where it's just Charlize Theron. Because if you hear stuff about the set, Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron did not get along very well on set. So
well, supposedly he was really terrible, on set with and he apologized. I think
I can imagine
to
that.
Miller about it, saying how bad of a person he was on set or whatever.
I can see that.
But
good movie though.
Yeah, no, very good movie. So basically, Immortan Joe is basically trying to find an heir, And each time he tries to have, he has a son, they end up with some sort of, issue where they either get radiation poisoning or some sort of respiratory issue seems to be the trend.
So, one of his wives is pregnant during this film, and she gets captured and killed, sadly.
Yeah.
But then they get the C-section out, and it's the one son he had that was perfect. So Immortan Joe... He can't breathe well, and he has this mask with teeth on it. There's one scene, he's holding his dead wife, and the mask just opens up so he can scream, and it's
And meanwhile, Rictus, who's another one of his sons,
shooting a
who's
machine
this
gun.
big buff dude just in the background shooting a gun into the air, and he's like, ah!
Because the thing about Mad Max, it's the apocalypse.
Like, how else do you cope with the death of a family member?
Something I read it somewhere. I think it was The Verge. They made a video about how crazy the Mad Max action scenes are. There's no logic to them. Max drives into a car and then some guy falls off somewhere else, and because it's the apocalypse, nothing matters.
Yeah.
So
but also that could also play into the whole legend thing.
Yeah.
That whole there were so many people dying. It's you gotta imagine if the guy telling this story around the campfire is just exaggerating it to
Right.
And then this car exploded, then this car exploded, and then the truck exploded, but Max was able to jump out of it at the absolute last second.
Yeah.
Which would become very sloppy storytelling.
There also aren't that many action movie cliches in this movie.
Actually, yeah, you're right.
And so one of the things you're going to hear a lot about Mad Max Fury Road, and what you'll notice when you see it, it will. If you're listening to this, you've seen it. I'm presuming.
Yeah.
Is
at this point,
the use of practical effects in that movie?
It's glorious.
It's not there are some levels where you don't need to use practical effects, but this movie shows a great balance between them. Charlize Theron's character has a robotic arm that's made from CGI.
Yeah.
There's a big sandstorm in the movie. Some of the action is done with CGI.
The final crash at the
but for the most part, this movie they built all of these cars just to
awesome
destroy
to
them.
about.
There's one guy there, guitar guy. He steals the whole movie.
Yeah. He's basically on this truck.
And
that's
his
stacked high
with speakers,
amps, and on the back are these war boys who are just banging on drums.
His purpose in this movie,
he offers the theme music.
It seems just to be to play guitar, and his guitar, when he strikes the right chord, shoots fire out of it, and it's real fire.
The guitar is real.
Yeah.
The guitar actually works. You can
they built a fire guitar.
They built a guitar that shoots fire from the end.
And then someone thought it was Flea who was the guitar guy. It's not Flea.
Yeah.
It's not Flea.
Maybe
Flea's a bassist.
When you say that they don't have action movie stereotypes, maybe they just put in so many that you just became desensitized.
I could have been.
That could have been.
Michael's seen it more than me, but
I've seen it.
They had some action movie stereotypes and overused stuff, but they didn't have a lot of I'm about to get the final kill, but now I'm being stopped from doing it. When they kill Immortan Joe, they
kill him.
Yeah.
There's
it was the most awesome.
Remember
me?
That's one of the better villain kills, and there also wasn't a line or something a cool action line. I think Charlize Theron, she got her spear in his mask that he was wearing, and she was like, "Remember me." And Immortan Joe is about to say something but I think they run to a rock or something.
No, she puts the chain that was attached to the hook that's attached to his mask into the transmission of the car.
She cut him off,
and it just.
He was about to say his final words as a villain, but no, they just killed him. No final words.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's
awesome.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
That's my property.
I'm going to be seeing this with Chris Barkley.
Can we
join you? Can we join you?
That would actually be fun. Would you like to?
I've already been invited.
Would you want to? I'll text Chris now.
Text him now, man. Let him know.
It's to welcome Christopher Nievas to Galloway. Yeah.
So let's wrap the episode up now, I say, and then we'll go get chicken fries.
Cool. What do we want to end it on?
Let's end it on Twitter stuff.
I need to pee.
What?
I need to pee.
Okay, I actually do as well.
Okay.
So we'll end it on that.
We all need to pee. We'll see you in August. I love you all, and we'll see you in August.
I'll be on Twitter throughout the summer with stuff.
Yeah, I will
about
be
podcasts and stuff.
I will be receding into the deep
the deep south, and I'll be living in a shack.
Oh.
Yeah, nice.
If you want to access me, use a ham radio.
What's your trucker name?
No, not like a ham radio
Smokey.
that the truckers use. Literally,
A
it's
radio.
a radio made out of ham.
It's a bacon radio.
You can find
No.
me at Holmes or
Yeah.
Simpson.
Okay.
I'll be posting to our Tumblr just blog posts about opinions that I have. So you can. There's a very long thing about superhero movies on there, and I like it. I think I talked about Daredevil. Okay,
Daredevil's the fucking best. By the
We'll
way.
see you in August.
We'll
Have
see you
a
in
great
August.
summer.
Bye bye.